I managed to build a six-figure portfolio over the course of 4 years. But first things first, I'm going to explain how I did that. But first things first, I just want to explain something. That's not normal. The vast majority of people that are watching this video, I guarantee, are not probably going to be at a position where they've got a six-figure portfolio. Now, given the nature of the content, there will be a few people that are there, and fair play to you. Share in the comments exactly how you managed to do it. I'm going to go over how I did it. Now, when you look at someone that has a six-figure portfolio, I remember back in the day when I first started with 20 quid, you look at it and you think to yourself, that is never going to be possible. How the hell am I ever going to get there? And the challenge is that absolutely getting to that point is going to take a lot of sacrifice, but importantly, it's going to take much more of your contributions than it is any gains that you're going to get as a result of it. So once you get to that point, some of the compounding starts to take over when we see green years, of course. But getting to that point is going to take significantly more of your contributions, you putting it into the market, when it's going down, when it's going up, keep on going. And that is the hardest part. That's why the likes of Buffett often talks about the fact that that's the magic number. Once you get there, you can take the foot off the gas a little bit. Gas! But in reality, it's very, very hard to get to that point. And there are some steps that you need to do in order to get there. So let's go over some of the things that I did in order to build a six-figure portfolio from scratch. Now, I don't come from wealth in any way. I've never inherited a penny. Both of my parents have passed away, and it cost me money when that happened. I haven't taken any money off anyone. Everything is 100% self-made, and all of it came from my day job. Believe it or not, I've actually not relinquished any money out of the side hustle that I have now turned into a career in terms of content creation to put into my stocks and shares ISAs, my pensions, in order to achieve this. But the first thing I was very, very intentional, right? That was something that I was very desperate to make happen. And I was very obsessed from the beginning in order to try and make that happen. That meant a level of financial literacy. And that's the most important thing right from the off. A certain level of financial literacy. You don't need to be John Bogle to reach this level. You just need to do a little bit of research. And that might mean reading a few books. Let me reel a couple off for you. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the first one I read. Controversial character, great book. Psychology of Money, anything by Andrew Craig. There's loads. But those ones typically got me on a path right from the off to understanding about how all of this sort of stuff, assets versus liabilities, all the boring stuff that you think is boring, is actually quite interesting. So a certain level of financial literacy is important from the off. Now, I've said it before a million times, but I am going to cover it again, but quickly. Your 9 to 5 is your wealth building tool, right? That is what's going to enable you to get to £100,000. And that might mean that you may need to leave your company you work in, try a new company. It may even mean you need to change a niche, go into a different area, or niche, as the Americans say. I don't know why I've done 2 American accents already, but listen, there we are. Once you've decided that that is something that you're going to do, that opens up an opportunity to then get a significant jump in pay by moving company, get a significant jump in pay by niching down into a certain area. It's exactly what I did. I became a packaging innovation technologist. I did that about 15 years ago, and I moved company twice. And every time I did it, I increased my salary by about 30 to 40%, which is significant. Now, we know the power of not financing a car. The average car finance payment in the UK at the moment is 300 quid. I have a bit of a beater. I say it's a beater. Here it is. It's a beauty. It cost me £9,000 6 or 7 years ago now. It's probably worth about £5,000 now. But how many people are driving around in a £5,000 car that's a James Bond car? How the hell that happened, I have no idea. So I'm a big advocate for not necessarily cutting out luxuries in your life to get to these numbers. That's my approach, because at the moment I'm relatively young. I want to enjoy things I want to enjoy. I want to go on I went to Seville 2 weeks ago. You know, I want a coffee when I want a coffee. I want a steak when I want a steak. I want to do the things that I want to do. We are young but once. So I'm not a massive fan of uber frugality, taking all of the joy out of your life to try and potentially reach a point where you can retire early and then start enjoying the money. Because yes, tomorrow is not guaranteed. So enjoy today. Get that balance right. It still does mean I maxed out my ISA every year, but I did that by changing company a number of times, by not financing a car, by using the appropriate accounts in order to make it happen, and a little bit of luck as well. Markets have been kind. So don't think that a 9 to 5 is a bad thing. It is a great thing, and that's where most people are. That's what most people do in order to put money into the market. You got to find that balance. You got to try and increase your income, and you got to maintain the luxuries that make life enjoyable. Otherwise, what's the bloody point? Now, an important point here to reference is this £100,000 can be across both your pension and your investment account. It doesn't necessarily need to be in one. I get this comment a lot as well, where they say, what if I've got 10 pensions and there's £10,000 in each? Is that going to compound at the same rate? Is it going to grow at the same rate? Well, if they're in the same products, let's hypothetically assume they're in the same products, you still have £100,000 invested into the market. It doesn't matter if you had 100 accounts with £1,000 in it, fees aside. So you can have it across a mixture of accounts, and you can have it across a mixture of different products, ISAs, pensions, LISAs, whatever it may be. But if you do want to retire before pension age, which I do, pension age for me is 57, and I cannot access my pension until I'm that age. I want to be able to retire before that at 50, and that means you need to use the stocks and shares ISA. So thanks to XTB for sponsoring this video. They've got an amazing deal on at the moment that I want to make you aware of. XTB are currently offering 6% on the cash you hold within an ISA at the moment. That is incredibly competitive. So this is inclusive of a 2% boosted rate for 90 days from opening the account, and that will revert back down to 4% afterwards. So 90 days worth of 6% is an incredible deal. And if you're a new user and open an account and fund it within the first 7 days, you're going to get a free share as well, so it's double bonus. You also get flexible ISAs, which means you can put your money in, you can take it out, and as long as you put it back in within the same tax year, it doesn't impact on your £20,000 allowance. They are FCA accredited, your cash is covered by FSCS protection, and they have thousands of investment products to choose from. More choice than you'll ever probably want. So in order to open an account, I'll leave a link in my bio below. But you also need to use promo code Neil to qualify for some of these deals, so make sure that you put that in as you are signing up. A big part around trying to get to this number as well is going to be a psychological battle that you have, because you're so desperate to get there. You want it to happen as quick as possible, and there's a danger there that is going to make you irrational in terms of some of the decisions that you make and some of the behaviors that you display. That means you potentially could take on more risk than is necessary. And recency bias has told us that the market over the last 5 years is just going up and up and up. There has been some blips along the way, and we're in the middle of the one right now with what is going on in the Middle East. And I see a lot of comments from people going, as soon as something like this happens, I'm selling out, I'm going to cash. Or as soon as something like this happens, I'm selling out and I'm moving to defensive stocks. Now, this approach might work for you, but typically for me, it's high risk. It requires a high level of research in order to make it happen. You're very likely to get it wrong, and you are actually very likely to underperform a simple all-world fund just by doing this. The vast majority of people will do that. One of the problems you'll come across is perhaps you'll do it once and you'll get it right just by fortune, and that'll confirm to you that you are indeed the next Warren Buffett. And from there, you'll go on and you'll try and do it every single time, and you will slip up as a result of that. So keep it very simple, right? We can't control what the markets are doing going forward. And if you're only just starting now, there's a risk associated with that. You know, some people are saying that the market is overvalued at the moment, and we'll see not quite as tasty gains over the next few years as we got over the last few years. But that could be BS as well. It could be we could see gains greater than that. We could see negative, but no one knows what's going to happen. All you need to do is control what you can control. And what you can control is how much you're making and how much you're putting into the market. Ignore the noise. Ignore what's going on. At the moment, it's Iran. In 6 months, it'll be something else. In 6 months after that, it'll be something else. I have never sold out of my portfolio. And this comes from the first point around financial literacy. I understand that this is part and parcel of the journey. So you just have to keep going. The other impact that you have to bear in mind is inflation. So £100,000 now is not necessarily going to buy you the same amount as £100,000 in 10 years' time. And it may mean that you need to just adjust your numbers accordingly. Because at the end of the day, the most important thing is the buying power of the money you have. Yes, £100,000 is a number, but it's a number that's been talked about for decades. And over those decades, it's had less buying power. So do just make sure you're aware of the impact of inflation. But something magical happens when you do get above that threshold. And what happens is when we see a green year, I've seen it over the last 12 months. So my portfolio is up around £18,000, and I had £130,000 in it at the beginning of the year. That means that I've made over £20,000 just by holding my account. Now, this is when, once you get to that threshold, something magic happens in terms of the fact that now the gains in my portfolio, when we see a year like we have, far surpass the contributions I'm putting into it. The portfolio is almost taking over. I got you now, bro. Leave it to me. And when we see those green years and we see an 18% gain in the market, it flies. It just, now equally, the same is true if we see an 18% drop in the market. It will drop by tens of thousands of pounds. But I have a high conviction that the market is going to continue to rise, to gain in my time horizon, which is decades. So long, it's really simple. So long as you're putting as much in as you can, right? You've increased your income in order to make that happen. You're ignoring the noise. You're as diversified as possible. You're not trying to speed things up. You're not allowing emotion and your brain to get in the way of things. You will get there. You might not get there in 4 years. It depends what the market does. It depends how much you put in. It might take a bit longer. But once you cross that threshold, yes, you see great gains in your portfolio, but something psychologically happens within your own brain. You almost reach a point where you're like, I feel so much more financially independent as a result. You're at a point where you've got that FU money. You know, if your job is absolutely horrific and you hate it, you're starting to have some options, starting to have some things that you can think about being in control of rather than the world dictating which direction you have to go in. So the beauty of that number is not just the gains that you see, it is how it makes you feel. And when you get there as well, you become even more determined to increase it, to grow it more, to put more in, to keep going. And you start to play around with compound interest calculators and you start to think to yourself, Christ, this is already life-changing, but what it could potentially do over the next few years is unbelievable. I do genuinely believe that most people can get to this point, but it takes some discipline, it takes some learning, it takes some consistency, it takes some luck, it takes some work, but it is in your gift in order to make that happen. So listen, like I said earlier, anyone that has reached that number already, please let us know anything else, any other tips and tricks you've done in order to make that happen. I really appreciate you watching.